welcome to my channel. Today we will learn about useEffect in React. UseEffect is used to give flexibility to run code after rendering. In this way, you can synchronize your component with some system out of React. For example, you want to send the analytics log after the component appears on screen. You might think it is similar to event handler, but no, let's see how it is different from event handlers. There are two types of logic in React. One is rendering code where you transform the props and state and return the updated JSX you want to see on screen. Another is event handling, which is basically functions inside the components like updating an input field or navigating to another screen. They change the state because of an action like typing or a button click by the user. But this is not that we always need. Sometimes we want specific effects to happen after the component has rendered. For example, when you chat, sending a message by a button click is an event, but setting up the connection is done by useEffect. Or you want data to appear after a specific component is available on the screen is through the use of useEffect. Now, how do we write useEffect? First, import it from the React at the top and then write useEffect at the top level of the component. Second, declare the dependencies to avoid running the useEffect all the time. Third, if you're using effect to set a connection or subscribe, remember to disconnect it or unsubscribe it. Some important points to take care when using useEffect. These are the three syntax which you can see. In the first syntax, if you don't provide any dependency, it will render every time. Second is you want it to run only after on mount effect. Means once the component is loaded, it will run only once. Then you give an empty array over here. Third is when you want it to run on mount and also when A or B are like states which will be changing or if are states which will be changing and hence you want useEffect to run. You want it to run on mount and also if either A or B dependency change. So you will be using this syntax. Let's see this with the use of code. This is a normal React.js application which I have running. Here is my app.js file. So first I will be using useEffect and useState over here. Let me import it as step 1. Okay, in this I will be taking data from an API which is already publicly available and try to present the data on the screen. So let me first define my use state. I'm using the snippet. It will be an array, so I'm using this. Next is the time of defining our useEffect, writing our useEffect at the top level. So useEffect I again use the second point where it will run only once on mount condition. Here I am writing a asynchronous function so that it can wait until we fetch the data and then load the data inside our data state. You can use Axios or fetch. Axios you need to install. You can just write npm I Axios and you will be able to install it. Here is the data which I am using. You can use this URL itself to get the list of posts. I will have to use await. Now I am assigning the value whatever has come inside response into our data. I'm writing it in a try catch block to save us from the error we can get on the screen. Yeah, when you're using Axios, you also need to define it here. So I'm going to do, don't forget first of all to install it, and second thing will be importing it. Okay, now let's call this function, and I want it to run only once. That's why I'm using this. Okay, let's check the console. You can see this coming over here. Let me clear it and again run it. You can see the console being printed. Now we have all the data inside our set data, means this data state is having all the data coming from fetch data. Okay, now I want to print it on screen. For this I'm going to do little bit changes over here. And I will be using map concept to show all the data because this is an array. Data, the name of our array, map. I'm naming each data, each part of that array as an item. I will provide a key. And here if you see this data, what should I print? Anything small. I will print the title. So we have all the titles coming from this data which we which we collected through the API. Okay, so this is the simple use of an effect, and thank you for watching this video. Kindly like, share and subscribe my channel.